5th meeting of Asheville City Schools Board of Education is hereby called to order. For tonight's Pledge of Allegiance, we'll have a special presentation from Asheville Primary's Wyatt Marshall and Maggie Higginbotham. If you would please stand for the pledge.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Maggie. We began our work session this evening at 4:00 p.m. and now we're commencing the March formal board meeting. Before we begin, can I have a motion to amend the agenda to include policy 3535 under action items?
I move to amend the agenda to include 35.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? So moved. Next, we have our consent items. We have our work session and regular meeting. We had our work session and regular meeting on February 5th, 2018. Our closed session meeting on February 5th, 2018. Special call meeting February 19th, 2018. Our closed session meeting February 19th, 2018. And our closed session meeting February 27th, 2018. We also had our June summer school plan, our IT purchase, our budget amendment, and our quick claim conveyance of Montford property to Buncombe County. So, next we have, our superintendent's report by Dr. Denise Patterson. Oh, I'm so sorry. May I have a motion may I have a motion to approve our consent items, please?
I move we approve consent items.
May I have a second?
A second.
All in favor? Any opposed? So moved. Next, we have our superintendent's report by Dr. Denise Patterson.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education. Just wanted to give you an update on what I have been doing for the past month, although you receive weekly updates from not only myself, but also from our leadership team. I've conducted daily visits, or at least try to visit schools 5 times a week. This has enabled me to continue to communicate with staff and build relationships with staff and students. Please follow me on Twitter at Dr.P_ACS and find out more about the events that I attend at that moment. We attended the North Carolina ASCD conference where we had our principal Cynthia Sellinger of Paul Fletcher and principal Sarah Kane of Ira B. Jones to present. They did a phenomenal job presenting to a room of educators. We had over 30 participants there, and they did an excellent job representing Asheville City Schools. For Read Across America last week, I enjoyed reading to Miss Anna's 3-, 4-, and 5-year-old students at Asheville Primary School. It was wonderful to read to them the book Greek Eggs and Ham, and I think our staff enjoyed visiting our schools and connecting with our students as well. Our safety updates. As you know, we have been sharing videos about our safety updates and our progress that we continue to make and make sure that our students are safe. I've met with members of our district safety team, and we have continued to review our safety procedures, including but not limited to our fire drills, tornado drills, lockdowns. We are ensuring that our doors on our classrooms are locked, that we are having our visitors sign in and out and showing picture identification. Our safety officer, Ms. McGowan, has been meeting with our school safety teams. Finally, we will continue our collaboration with the Asheville Police Department. We've conducted a few safety assessments at our schools, and we will continue. As we are working and living and thriving in Asheville City Schools, we will continue to focus on school safety. We want all of our students and our staff to attend great schools. Finally, we will continue to provide high-quality instruction and programs to enhance student achievement in Asheville City Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ashley Michelle Duplin with our good news.
Dr. Patterson, Madam Chair Sanford, and members of the board. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing you to 3 special women who constantly go above and beyond the call of education. Truly, they have their students' best interest at heart, and their dedication is an excellent example of the ACS way. First up, I would like to bring your attention to Asheville Primary's Teacher of the Year, Miss Mary Aldridge. Please be seated. Miss Aldridge believes students learn best through play and exploration. Therefore, she encourages interaction that manifests self-motivation, problem-solving, and critical thinking, specifically in the form of centers based on intentional play. Miss Aldridge has been an Asheville Primary pre-kindergarten teacher for 2 years. During that time, she's not only led her students, giving them a perfect first glimpse at school, but also become a valuable peer for her Asheville Primary family. In addition to being a beginning teacher's mentor, Aldridge additionally leads Asheville Primary's Health and Wellness Committee and is also a member of the school's Parent Involvement Committee. Ms. Aldridge, thank you so much for your continued commitment to Asheville City Schools. It is also my pleasure to introduce you to Ms. Lisa Brueggemann. Ms. Brueggemann, please. Ms. Brueggemann is a National Board Certified Teacher and has taught with the Asheville Preschool Program for her entire career. She is a North Carolina Pre-K Demonstration Project Teacher, and through this project, she provides opportunities for guided observation visits to her inclusive preschool classroom. Across the state, North Carolina teacher leaders implement and model effective practices for working with a diverse population of preschool and kindergarten-age students. Ms. Brueggemann is also a social-emotional foundations for early learning state trainer and has maintained fidelity with several practices in her classroom for several years. With her expertise, Ms. Brueggemann has taken a key leadership role by supporting classroom teachers and implementing best practices for all of our preschool and primary school students. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. As for this month's classified staff member who exudes all things the ACS way, I'd like to call upon Ms. Katrina Dean. Dean is an instructional assistant in an Elementary 1 Montessori classroom. This is her 2nd year at Asheville Primary, where she's voluntarily taken on a leadership role in implementing the school's new Montessori magnet theme. She is also a member of the school improvement team, the MTSS team, and the ICS equity team. Additionally, Ms. Dean often takes a lead role in planning meaningful parent events and engaging student field trips, like Asheville Primary's recent mock sit-in at King Daddy's that was covered by Selby Willamette. She also prides herself on developing positive relationships with her grade level team, new lead teacher, as well as her students and their families. Truly, she goes out of her way to participate in parent conferences and IEP meetings, ensuring a team approach to supporting our students. Ms. Dean, thank you so much for ensuring every student in your class is not only held to high standards, but also receives an excellent first glimpse into lifelong learning. Have the 3 of y'all come forward, and then our board members can complete the program. Continuing on with our good news segment, Asheville City Schools is a district destined for success, With its rich culture of academic, artistic, athletic, and civil-minded excellence, I'm quite excited to bring your attention to 4 standouts for the month of February. Our Good News segment begins with an introduction to Asheville Middle School's Lady Cougars basketball team. If we have any representatives, if you guys can please. For the first time since 2001, our Asheville Middle School girls basketball team has finished with an undefeated season. Additionally, on February 8th, they brought home the French Broad Championship plaque after defeating North Buncombe Middle School 35-31. Not only did they have one of the best seasons in Asheville Middle School history, but these ladies truly played as a team and made sure everyone on the court worked hard and had the opportunity to score. Congratulations. Next up, I would like to call upon our Asheville Middle School cheerleaders. If we have any representatives, if y'all can please take a step. You see them on the sidelines for every football and basketball game, but our girls are so much more than just chants and cheers. With a season that extends for most of the school year, they're quite the student athletes. This summer, before the school year even began, they were busy and they were practicing. They learned their competition piece back in August, spending 6 months perfecting every toe touch, dance move, and stunt crew. And I'm excited to say that their efforts were certainly rewarded when they received the Grand Champion title during the February 11 Spirit Solutions Masquerade Classic. In addition to granting them ultimate bragging rights, the award too earned the girls an invitation to the National Cheerleading Association's All-Star Championship. Congratulations. March Madness beginning in less than a week, college teams usually lead the basketball discussion during this time of year. But with their winning record and competitive conference play, it is our Asheville Middle School Lady Cougars that keep us talking. The girls basketball team finished the 2016-2017 season 1-20. Therefore, when Sanita Warren-Dixon was named their 2017-2018 coach, her first order of business was to create a family atmosphere. In fact, along with individual skill work and an increased competitive drive, Coach Warren-Dixon credits her family atmosphere and leading the girls to their 3rd in the conference finish and state playoff appearance. Ending the season 15-12, the Lady Cougars accomplished all the goals they set forth on that first day of practice. 1, creating a family atmosphere. 2, finishing with a winning record. 3, becoming a competitive conference matchup. And 4, making the state playoffs. Congratulations on such a stellar season, ladies. We can't wait to see how you move forward both next year and in the future. Lastly, I would like to bring your attention to the excellent civic-minded attitudes of our Isaac Dixon and Ida B. Jones students. You see, our Isaac Dixon elementary school students took the Day of Love to a whole new level by spending their Valentine's Day by participating in Jump Rope for Heart. In total, our experiential learners raised more than $20,000 for the American Heart Association. Similarly, our Ida B. Jones students took the cause to heart, with students spending February 21st jump roping. In total, the global learners raised over $4,200. In addition to raising money for such a worthy cause, Ira B. Jones gave its students an added incentive when Coach Callahan allowed the student who raised the most money to shave off half his beard. Thank you to all our staff members, families, and community members who helped our students reach their goal in donating to such a worthy cause. And as you can see, there is a photo of Coach Callahan from half his beard. This Good News glimpse gives you just a taste of the great things happening across Asheville City Schools. For the most up-to-date celebrations, I invite you to check out our website, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or check out the ACS Way across all of our social media platforms. And then at this time, I'd like to call upon our awardees to receive, so we can take a picture with our board members. So if we can have the girls cheerleaders first.
You gotta get in there, Martha.
And then did we have anybody here from the middle school basketball team?
They're at practice right now. They told me to tell you, we talk about strides and dreams. They're working on going back to Florida to defend their AAU title. So not only are the basketball team practicing, but last year's team is at the school practicing with them. So they're at the middle school practicing until about 8 o'clock, right? So they want to apologize for the absence, but they're getting ready to go to get their title down in Florida.
Thank you very much.
So we just like to say thank you to our staff who were recognized tonight. We really appreciate all you do for our students. And thank you to the cheerleaders for being here. We really appreciate you being here this evening. Looks like the Cougar Pride is still alive, especially with our Lady Cougars. That's exciting to see. So next we have our curriculum feature with Dr. Don Meskel from Asheville Primary School.
Good evening. I managed the slides and my notes. So thank you for having me tonight. I'm excited to talk about Montessori education as our magnet theme. And I've already hit the wrong button. So as you know, we are Asheville City Schools' newest magnet school and the first public Montessori school in Western North Carolina, which is important because access to Montessori education is a key reason for our magnet theme. For this school year, we are serving 2 classrooms of pre-K and kindergarten combos. That's called Montessori Early Childhood. Then we have Montessori Elementary 1. You've heard that Ms. Dean, she's an assistant in one of those classrooms. This year we are serving 1st and 2nd graders, and next year we will serve 1st through 3rd grade in those classrooms. And then on our campus, as part of our primary school, we also have 7 of our 10 preschool classrooms. So a little bit about a background about Montessori. Montessori, Maria Montessori was a doctor. She did her observations using scientific methods of child development. She developed her methods about in 1907, so over 100 years ago. And they've been time-tested since then as being effective, and they are recognized as an evidence-based approach to education. Some of the tenets of her philosophy are that children are naturally eager for knowledge and capable of initiating their own learning. It values the human spirit and the development of the whole child, so that is the physical, social, emotional, and cognitive domains of development that we talk about regularly. And then there are 5 core components to her philosophy. It's trained teachers, multi-age grouping, intentional environments, specific materials, and then work block time. So I'm going to go into each of those quickly for you. So for trained teachers, in addition to the North Carolina teaching license that all of our teachers hold, they also have to earn a Montessori certification from an accredited teacher education program. And through that program, they are learning having a deep understanding of developmental progressions. They're learning the importance of setting up an appropriate classroom environment. They're learning about the specific materials and lessons. They're really learning about how to observe children and plan for them. And all of those pieces come together to create a quality Montessori environment. So they're really serving as more of a guide than what we consider a traditional teacher in their educator role. Another key component is multi-age groupings. You heard me share a little bit about that earlier. The idea behind multi-age groupings is that we foster peer learning and teaching. So children can experience challenges through observing others, and then they can also demonstrate their own learning by teaching other children what they've learned already, what they've mastered. And then it allows for child-directed learning progression. So children aren't forced to move along any quicker than they can, and they're not kept back if they can't move along quicker. Next, we have intentional environments, and that's really for that child direction component. So our environments encourage independence, freedom within limits, and then a sense of order. They're meant to promote individual choice, and then the materials are intentionally selected for self-development. So really it's the idea of developing responsibility for yourself as a learner and how to select the materials that are going to keep moving you on. So next we've got the specific materials that I was just referring to. Most of them, if not all of them, are hands-on materials. There's a guided choice, so children know based on the way that the classroom is set up which activities they can access. They have to have had a lesson on it already, and then the way the shelves are organized are by progression of difficulty, so they know if they're on the top shelf, the middle shelf, or the bottom shelf, kind of which activities they can access on their own. So there's that guided choice piece. Often in our classrooms too, we use a work plan to help children and teachers think about what's next for them and keep them moving forward. A lot of Montessori's materials have a control of error, which means that the child can, again, kind of have that self-discovery of the material that they're trying to master. So no one's pushing them forward or keeping them back. They're kind of figuring it out on their own, and once they master that activity, they're able to teach it to a peer or to their teacher. And if needed, the teacher can provide another lesson or just more practice time. And then the materials are intentionally designed to kind of hit 5 key components: practical life, sensorial, language, math, and cultural. The practical life is really about doing, taking care of ourselves, and having our responsibility more than anything else. The sensorial is helping children kind of clarify and categorize the learning that they have, and then through concrete and tangible examples of what they've experienced. You know about language and math, and then cultural for Montessori really encompasses geography, history, art, music, cooking, gardening, and lessons in grace and courtesy. The uninterrupted block of work time is another key component that we worked really hard to honor, and we're kind of doubling down on that honor right now, making sure that we're not interrupting that work time with announcements, visitors, pull out for any kind of services. So our 3-hour work blocks are in the morning. Lessons are taught individually or in small groups typically, and then the children engage in their development of the appropriate work through their hands-on, student-managed expectations. So it really, again, recognizes and respects individual variation and learning progression. And that is it for the 5 components. We have some resources on our website that are linked in your presentation, and obviously you have a handout too that we provide our parents, our prospective parents, and you're welcome to complete our school anytime. Thank you.
We have printed the guidelines for making comments on the sheet and ask that you follow those guidelines if you plan to make a public comment tonight. There should be forms in the back if you want to make a public comment. Please make sure you sign up and hand those to Ms. Kimberly over here, and you can hear your public comments. I also want to let you know that this is our last meeting where we'll have individual forms for the public comment. After this board meeting, our next board meeting, we'll have a form in the back where you can sign your name and the topic that you want to discuss, and then that sheet will be taken up right before public comment, and then we will go from there with public comment. So it'll still have all the information regarding the public comment on the form. It'll just be one sheet, so we can say the truth. So do we have any public comments? Public comments? Next, we have our board attorney with our action items.
Dr. Patterson, Chairman Sanford, and board members, you have before you several policies for consideration tonight. This is the culmination of months of work by your faculty, by your staff here at the central office, and others. We promised you a year ago when you made significant changes to your admissions policies, and we would take another look at them and make sure that we had all the procedures clearly identified, and what we're after in these policies is parent-friendly policies. I think it's no secret that as the population within the Asheville City School District continues to grow, there's less opportunity for out-of-district students to get admission into the school district. So we want to make sure that our policies and procedures are clear so that parents can make informed decisions, both parents that are within our district and parents outside our district. So you have several policies that you've reviewed in detail tonight earlier in a work session. Policy 4130 deals with just that, some communication changes to make sure it's clear for parents of out-of-district students that not only must they apply each year for readmission into the Asheville City Schools, we cannot guarantee readmission into the Asheville City Schools from year to year, from grade level to grade level for out-of-district children. This is true because of building capacity, and it's true because of changing classroom ratios of teachers to students that have been mandated for the Asheville City Schools by the General Assembly. So those are the major changes in 4130. In policy 4150, that's your school assignment policy. We wanted to make sure that it was clear that the criteria that is used to, first of all, place in-district students was clear in the policy, and second, if there is one in a particular school, out-of-district students. The other changes that needed to be made were that traditionally the only choice you had was at your magnet level, your elementary schools. Well, now with North Star Academy and SILSA, there's obviously choice at the middle school and high school level too. So those schools will now follow the exact same timelines, the exact same procedures, so that if there is more interest in those schools than there is capacity, those schools will go into a lottery, like you do in your elementary schools now. And by the way, your lottery is down here at the central office. It's supervised by the clerk of court. So if there needs to be a lottery for North Star Academy, for SILSA in the future, it'll follow policy 4150. Policy procedure 4150P, which you do not act on, but it is an administrative procedure that you need to be knowledgeable of, makes those same conforming changes to the admission criteria. The other thing it does is it takes the process by which current out-of-district students are assessed for readmission the next year. Those criteria were previously in your tuition policy. And your superintendent, your staff just felt like that did not make sense. That was confusing to have those kinds of criteria in a tuition policy. So those are now included in 4150. And then finally, 4135P is that very procedure on tuition. We've removed those criteria and the procedure for those currently enrolled out-of-district students, and also made sure that it is 100% clear that admission and continued admission in the Asheville City Schools for an out-of-district student is contingent on full payment of the tuition by August 1st of each year. Historically, the board has accepted late payments. The administration, that takes a lot of staff time and a lot of energy to try to chase down, which is the amount of money the parents are obligated to pay on the front end anyway. So now that's clear that the child will not be admitted unless that full tuition is paid by Happy to answer any questions that you might have, but the action item I'm recommending, since we're in the middle of admission season now, and these are conforming changes rather than any drastic changes in our procedures, my recommendation is that you activate policy 2400, you waive a second reading, and these two policies would be effective tonight on a single reading. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer.
So may I have a motion to activate?
To waive a second reading and approve the policy.
To waive the second reading and approve the policies that are before us. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? So moved. Thank you, Chris.
I'm still on your agenda for the next item. This does not require a vote. We added it to action item tonight so that the public would have additional notice of it, but it does not require a vote on first reading. This is the policy regarding educational guest speakers and assemblies at your schools. This is a policy that is unique to Asheville City Schools. Some months ago, the Board of Education directed the superintendent and the administration to revisit this policy and make it more in line with the way we make all educational decisions here in the Asheville City Schools, so the administration has done just that. If I can, Madam Chair, I'll read the new policy and then just briefly tell you about the procedure. The policy now states as follows. The use of educational guest speakers in student assemblies can be an important component in accomplishing the goals of citizenship education. However, this places a serious responsibility on the school's professional staff members to correctly structure the learning situation and/or assembly involving an educational guest speaker. All educational guest speakers must be approved in advance by the school principal, executive director of teaching and learning, and the superintendent. So now anyone invited to come and speak to students as part of the educational program, it will require the approval of the school principal, the executive director of teaching and learning, and the superintendent. The procedure that the superintendent is recommending to go along with this has 3 steps. The first is a preliminary conference in which a principal can come to the central office or make a phone call to the executive director of teaching and learning and have a discussion about the opportunity and how to structure that opportunity. That is a required step before there are forums or meetings about a particular speaker coming to town. We want to structure it as an educational opportunity from the very beginning. After that preliminary meeting, the principal then submits a formal request form, and that request form has certain criteria which basically align the opportunity with the curriculum we're teaching our students, identifies an educational outcome, and a follow-up activity as well. So if it's a citizenship education opportunity, not only will there be a component of citizenship that is part of the presentation, students are going to be asked to do an activity that enhances and reinforces the message that that particular speaker brought to school. So it's all very structured for the educational environment. And then finally, the superintendent has to sign off on the policy. And we are requiring the principals give the superintendent's office at least 6 weeks notice so that a particular opportunity can be analyzed. However, the procedure would allow waiver of that time period on a case-by-case basis, because as everyone can anticipate, the best speakers don't always appear 6 weeks out in nice concurrent time slots. So again, no action on that tonight, but that's your first reading. It'll come back before you at your next meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we have our future meetings and announcements. Our regular board meeting, next regular board meeting will be Monday, April 16th, 2018 at 6:30 at Asheville Primary, located at 441 Haywood Road here in Asheville. We also have our ACS Parent Safety Forum, which will be on March 6th, 2018 from 6 to 7 at Asheville Middle School. We have makeup days for students and staff on March 9th and March 29th. These will be full instructional days now. Promoting Equity Today will be Thursday, March 22nd, 2018 from 6 to 8, and that will now be Advanced Elementary School. We had to move to accommodate the large turnout that we have. We also have our Board of Education retreat, which will be held on Wednesday, March 28th from 8:30 to 12 p.m. at the Western Carolina University at Biltmore Park. We have Becoming an Equity Advocate, which will be Thursday, April 19, 2018, from 6 to 8 at the Arthur R. Eddington Education and Career Center. And we have our Asheville City Schools Career Fair on Saturday, May 5th, 2018, from 9 to 12 at Claxton Elementary School. Are there any questions? If there are no further questions, meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming tonight.